All right, this is the final voting update for the poll to choose the class of 2026 for YouTube's Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. To be clear, this is not the final results. This is just the last video update I'll be doing before the poll closes on July 29th. So there is still time to vote, and the final results could be different than what is being presented here. There was a good bit of movement in the last month, especially in the bottom half of the top 10. For anybody that doesn't know, the top 10 vote recipients in the poll will be inducted, but we don't do tiebreakers or runoffs. So if there is a situation where a tie means there are actually 11 or more wrestlers in the top 10, we will just induct all of them. Right now, Kevin Von Erich continues to hold a slim lead as the top vote recipient. Kevin has been at the top of the poll pretty much from the time the poll opened. Kevin's father, Fritz, was inducted with the inaugural class last year, and his brothers are not far behind him in the voting this year. David Von Erich is still in second place. David was in a tie with Kevin for the top spot early on, but Kevin pulled out front. David does not have second place all to himself anymore, however. He does have company in that second position. Bruiser Brody is tied with David in second place. Bruiser had been in a tie for third, but after a surge of votes has landed in a tie for second. For a brief period of time, Bruiser was actually tied with Kevin for the most votes, but more votes came in for both Kevin and David. Kerry Von Erich is now in fourth place, still not far behind. As I said last month, there are a lot of world-class fans that come through here with world-class bios and such, so no surprise there is a lot of world-class representation at or near the top of the voting. It's not all world-class, as Bobby Heenan is in fifth place. Heenan was best known as a manager and commentator in the WWF. Bobby has stayed close to the top of the poll and has solidly been in the top 5. Longtime women's world champion Mildred Burke is in sixth place and stands to be the first woman elected to the Hall of Fame, deservedly so, as she is a true pioneer in women's wrestling. After Burke, there has been quite a bit of movement in the poll. There have been several wrestlers jockeying for position, and one of them has finally pulled ahead, but he has somewhat unexpected company. Wahoo McDaniel is in a tie for 7th place. Wahoo was in that big mix of wrestlers over the first 2 months, and last month was in a 4-way tie for 7th. Wahoo had a great career primarily in Mid-Atlantic and Florida. Tied with Wahoo is former NWA World Champion Ricky Steamboat. Ricky was in that long list of wrestlers fighting at the bottom of the top 10 2 months ago, but he kind of fell off the radar. A sudden surge of votes has him right back in the mix. That goes to show that a few votes in the right place at the right time can totally change the landscape. So that's the top 8, and that brings us to a 4-way tie for 9th place. Now, if the poll ends like this, that would make it a class of 12 that will be inducted this year. This also includes a couple of surprises. First in the 4-way tie is Cowboy Bill Watts, the longtime owner of Mid-South Wrestling. He also had an impressive in-ring career of his own. Also in that tie is Playboy Gary Hart, best remembered as a manager, but he was also a booker and promoter, as well as doing some wrestling himself. With a big surge of votes in this last month is George Hackenschmidt. And boy, you talk about a pioneer. Hackenschmidt is recognized as the first world champion in professional wrestling history. This was when it was still a legit sport. Hackenschmidt was actually doing well in the very early voting, but fell behind after a couple of weeks. As it stands now, he might go in with this class. And also in that 4-way tie is Hulk Hogan. The face of pro wrestling for many years. There were some people disappointed Hulk didn't get in with the inaugural class, and I understand that. I was a little surprised he wasn't doing better in the voting this year, but a huge surge in the last month now has him in position to be inducted in 2026. So that's where things stand right now. There is still a month left before the poll closes. Again, July 29th will be the last day you can get votes in before the poll closes. I can tell you the voting is close enough. There could still be some surprises in the final results. So if there was a name you were hoping to hear, they could still slip in. Just to give a few of the names that are close, it includes Vern Gagne, Stu Hart, Terry Gordy, Jim Ross, Giant Baba, Adrian Street, Frank Gotch, Jack Briscoe, Killer Kowalski, and many more. This is far from over. I will post a reminder a few days before the poll closes, but this will be the last video update on voting in 2026. If you are new here, or if you need a reminder on how the voting works, there is a link in the description to the poll. You can also find a link in various places on the channel homepage. There are 300 wrestling personalities in the poll, and you can vote for as many as you like, or just one if you would rather. Also, this is just a piece of advice. Try not to get carried away with how many people you vote for. Keep in mind, the more you vote for, the less your vote might mean. If you vote for all 300, then that's the same as voting for nobody. All right, I'm excited to see who gets in this year. Once the poll closes, I'll get to work on the induction video. I've already got my Creators Award chosen, so we can just we'll just have to wait a month to see where that goes. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all who have voted already and those who will cast their vote in the next month. If you haven't already, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, not necessarily in that order. And I will see you next time.